want to talk a little bit about why you feel that's the best option and why that should be done now.
Well, the reason it should be done now is because we have a jobs crisis now. It's the best option because JP Morgan Chase has demonstrated over and over again that they are not a trustworthy institution. They were a part of so many scandals leading up to the 2008 financial collapse, and they have shown absolutely no remorse in the aftermath of that collapse. We have no reason to believe that they will not. We have no reason to believe that this will not happen again. And with a too big to fail bank, this is a way for the state of Kentucky to help that bank become a little bit smaller.
Now, have you had the chance to talk to Mr. Hollenbeck or anybody in that office at all?
We have not. With the election coming up, they've been pretty busy. So.
Do you have a petition?
We do have a petition online at investingkentucky.org. investingky.org. That people can go and sign, and each time that petition is signed, it sends an email directly to Mr. Hollenbeck. So that's a way to let your voice be heard.
Talk about how today's announcement coincides with the credit union movement that
yeah,
talked about.
It's what was it called? Bank Transfer Day. Today is November 5th. Nationally, it's been declared Bank Transfer Day, where we're calling on ordinary citizens that care about these issues to move their money out of the too big to fail banks and into local banks or credit unions. Another way to help those too big to fail banks become a little bit smaller and a little bit dangerous to the global, or a little bit less dangerous rather, to the global economy.
Is this more coincidence then that you guys are doing it the same day, or?
No, this is very much on purpose.
Why parallel this? Otherwise different issues.
Well, I don't see them being as different issues. We're asking the state of Kentucky, which represents the people of Kentucky, to make a common sense decision to coincide with Bank Transfer Day, where ordinary citizens are stepping up and making that decision. We see it as a great opportunity for the state of Kentucky to actually lead on this issue. So far, I believe the number was 500,000. In the lead up to today, 500,000 people have spoken up and said that they have moved their money out of the too big to fail banks and into small community banks and credit unions. We think that Kentucky can take a step and lead in this area.
Now, are there any other places in the country that are asking similar, or is Kentucky the first?
Actually, there have been several petitions and drives from citizens. I believe in California somewhere there's a movement to have the local Board of Education move their funds out of a too big to fail institution. Because one of the things you see a lot of times is with the way bonding for infrastructure projects, things like that, when these institutions, these systemically dangerous institutions like Chase, too big to fail, get a hold of it, a lot of times you'll see bond payments will go up, the amount of interest will go up, there's very little, and then the city, the locality, the state has very little recourse on how to deal with that. They pretty much put all their eggs in one basket. So there have been other cities, mostly it's been cities. I don't think we've seen a statewide movement for this yet, but we feel that talking about what Occupy Wall Street's talking about, this is a model. We don't expect this to be just a Kentucky thing. We want Kentucky to lead. We want Kentucky to be the model for the next revolution in community-based, state-based, local solutions to the problems that we see right now in our country. By taking our tax dollars out of Chase and putting them into a bank headquartered here, it'll spur investment, create jobs, and allow entrepreneurs to create all kinds of new businesses. It'll allow the infrastructure of the state to be developed, to get high-speed internet into rural Kentucky, to eastern Kentucky. I mean, how many people out in eastern Kentucky would start an internet business, but they can't because they have dial-up or satellite? We need this money that we're already paying to stay here and not be gambled away at the Wall Street casino.
Also on that same question, the city of Birmingham, Alabama had a run-in with JP Morgan Chase I believe it was either a credit default swap or a collateralized debt obligation scheme in which essentially before the 2008 collapse, the big banks and the three major credit agencies, S&P, Fitch, and Moody's, were rating basically junk investments as top grade. And Birmingham, Alabama got caught up in one of those investments. After the 2008 collapse, we saw them almost go into bankruptcy. One of the reasons behind that is that their interest rates on what were A-grade investments that ended up being junk mortgages that JP Morgan Chase had sold them, their interest rates ballooned from $60 million to $720 million after those, I forget if they were credit default swaps or collateralized debt obligations, but after the ratings were adjusted on those, the interest rates ballooned. And that's a position that we don't want the state of Kentucky to be in. If I'm doing my math right, that's a 1,200% jump in interest. That's something we can't afford. And JP Morgan Chase has demonstrated over and over again that they cannot be trusted.
Has this local Chase branch interacted with you guys at all?
The employees have interacted with us on their way in and out of work. We haven't had a lot of back and forth between the actual branch as an institution, I guess. Yeah.
I'm sure they would prefer. I'm sure they would prefer that we weren't out here reminding every single person that passes by that they were responsible for ruining the economy 2 years ago and continue to make unsafe investments today. But other than that, they've been pretty cool.
Good.
All right, thank you for coming out today.
Thank you. Just gonna get some shots if you guys go back to doing your thing.